Chinese state media says Afghanistan a lesson for Taiwan on how U.S. abandons allies.
Here's a summary of the article.
The Global Times, a tabloid controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, warned Taiwan on Monday it could face the same fate as Afghanistan if it continued relying on the United States as an ally. The paper's editorial began by describing how the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan caused the Taliban's forces to quickly seize control in what it deemed a heavy blow to the credibility and reliability of the U.S. Some historians also point out that abandoning allies to protect U.S. interests is an inherent flaw that has been deeply rooted in the U.S. since the founding of the country, the editorial contended, before claiming America betrayed France soon after the latter aided the original colonies in gaining independence from Britain in the Revolutionary War. Taiwan is similar to Afghanistan in that it has sought support from the U.S., the Global Times claimed, adding, Taiwan is the region that relies on the protection of the U.S. the most in Asia, and the island's Democratic Progressive Party (DPP) authorities have made Taiwan go further and further down this abnormal path. The situation in Afghanistan spiraled quickly out of control after the country was abandoned by the U.S. The paper asked, is this some kind of omen of Taiwan's future fate? The reason for the U.S. to be interested in relations with Taiwan is strategic as well as monetary, the Global Times continued. The island is probably the U.S. most cost-effective ally in East Asia. There is no U.S. military presence on the island of Taiwan. America's alliance is thus kept by selling arms to Taiwan, all the while encouraging the island to implement anti-mainland policies through political support and manipulation. As a result, it has caused a certain degree of depletion between the two sides of the Taiwan Straits.
This post received a score of 13,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Lol, so in that analogy China is the Taliban, I guess.
This comment is banned in China.
Chinese officials are claiming Taliban is the Afghan version of PLA. Even met them recently in a high-profile manner. Not sure why people gets the impression China hates being associated with the Taliban.
Afghanistan have an estimated $1 trillion of resources. If China could get its hands on them, oh my god, they would be in heaven.
They already do have their hands on a lot of it. They've been investing in mining there for over a decade.
You can totally give up and do nothing and America will still prop you up for 20 fucking years, is actually a pretty ringing endorsement for U.S. allies.
Quote, but only up to $2 trillion. Chinese state media.
I reckon I could do a couple of things with $2 trillion.
Two countries at the same time.
Fucking A, man.
I think if I was a trillionaire I could hook that up, because countries dig dudes with money.
Not all countries.
The kind counties that would double up on a county like ours.
Good point.
1. Taiwan's military is not as inept as the ANA. 2. Taiwan's government is not as inept as the Afghan government was. 3. Taiwan's citizenry has a strong national identity which isn't likely to be torn up from within by CCP supporters.
Bingo. It's much easier to actually assist a nation that has an idea of themselves as a nation. It's a common mindset that focuses energy and resources toward a goal. The Afghans weren't Afghans, they were Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazras and Baloch tribes.
It's a lot easier when the country you're trying to help genuinely attempts to help you to help it.
To be clear, this shouldn't be interpreted as a slight on the people there. We invaded and tried to form a coalition with the locals against the Taliban and it didn't work. Our goals didn't line up.
It is a slight and anything the CCP says about the US is going to be backhanded.
Oh yes. I agree that the Chinese comment was a slight on both parties, Afghanistan and US. I was saying the above discussion of why things fell apart so fast shouldn't be construed as a slight against the Afghanis.
If the Chinese wanted to make that argument, they're a bit too late. They should have brought it up when we left the Kurds out to dry.
And Hong Kong is a lesson for Taiwan on how China subjugates its citizens. Learning is fun.
It should be a lesson to any country that gets into a deal with China. They literally broke a treaty with the UK that guaranteed 50 years of political and economic independence.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes. and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.